how they're trying to brainwash you and I to believe this lie. At the beginning of 2024, Cat Williams went massively viral on Shannon Sharpe's podcast by saying this year a lot of people would get exposed. Well, since then, it's obvious that he was not wrong, with a list of celebrities being exposed left and right all year long. The massive institutions, from the educational system to the medical field and especially Hollywood, has lost trust with the general public. And ironically enough, on a more recent episode of Shannon Sharpe's podcast, John Legend tried to sneak in this lie and agenda from these massive institutions. Some have been tricked by this lie, but many are starting to wake up. This very interview has 6,000 likes, but 12,000 dislikes. This thing's completely ratio. So in this video, we're going to expose exactly what this lie is, how preposterous his conclusions are, and give you another way to examine and engage in this very important cultural conversation. But before we get into that, guys, my name is Ruslan. This channel exists to encourage, empower, and inspire you to live a life that blesses God. Sometimes that means leaning into the hard conversations that are happening in society and having a biblical response to them. So if you're new here, or if you're not new here, please do me a favor. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. There's a huge percentage of people that watch this channel, unfortunately, are not subscribed. All right, let's jump into the video. Okay, so let's look at this clip. This is John Legend on Shannon Sharpe's podcast.
You need to work together to get through it.
Right. Also, that she had a life-saving abortion.
Yeah.
Is that why you're so adamant?
Oh, yeah.
About the situation with that the woman have the right, it's her body, her choice, and Roe v. Wade? What made you so upset that it got overturned after 50 plus years?
Absolutely. Now, I was always pro-choice. Actually, not always. I grew up in the church, and we were taught that, you know, we were supposed to be pro-life when I was growing up in the church.
Right.
But as soon as I became an adult, I just realized that we need that choice. We don't need to.
Okay, so he kind of let a lie slip out. I was always pro-choice. No, you weren't. You just contradicted yourself.
Yeah.
But when he was in the church, what was he taught? Protect life.
No. His words. When I was in the church, I was told I was supposed to be pro-choice.
Pro-life.
Pro-life. And then when he's in the world, it's just the same thing happened. I'm told I'm supposed to be pro-choice.
Straight up told. Straight up bot.
Yeah, straight up bot. Okay, so when you were in the church, were you just told you're supposed to be pro-life, but you didn't actually understand why?
Yes.
You didn't actually look at the Bible. You didn't do the science bit.
Yes.
You just were told, and then when culture was like, oh, no, you do.
Yes. Now, the big lie here is in this notion of a life-saving deletion of a baby.
Hello.
This is disgusting.
So they're saying about his wife.
Yes.
Okay.
Watch what he goes on to explain, and then you tell me if what he explains is what we all know that word to mean, and then we'll get into the technical definition and all that goofy stuff. Go ahead. Okay.
Government telling us what to do, and women don't need the government telling them what to do with their bodies. And life is complex.
We tell people what to do with their bodies all the time.
Hello.
We tell you what speed limit you can drive. We tell you got to wear a seatbelt. We tell you that you can't harm other people with your body.
You can't be naked in public.
You can't be naked in public. Can't do certain drugs. We tell you what to do with your body all the time. Stop it.
Complicated, and there are all kinds of reasons why people might want or need an abortion, and the government has no place in that decision.
Yeah,
but then,
yet the government mandated that millions of Americans inject themselves with a vaccine that people didn't want to inject themselves in, and even potentially lost their jobs because they didn't want to inject themselves in. Now, I'm not saying this as a vaccine denier or any of this sort of stuff. You can go check my record. I've never made videos about any of this stuff. But we did tell people, specifically our frontline workers, that they had to inject themselves, even though many of them already had natural immunity from catching the thing.
Hello.
But the government can't tell you what to do with your body. You can't have it both ways, man. You can't have it both ways. You can't be okay with laws like speed limit laws, seatbelt laws, vaccine laws, and then at the same time say the government can't. The government tells you what to do with your kid's body.
Hello.
You can't attend a public school in most states without them taking a certain number of vaccines.
Hello. That's crazy.
So what are we talking about?
when we went through all these fertility struggles and then had a miscarriage, it made it even more clear to me how personal everything that happens in that room with your.
Now, did you guys catch it? Did you catch the sneaky sleight of hand? What did they have?
But then when we went through all these.
Pause it. Which is awful and tragic.
Yeah.
And anybody who's gone through that will tell you that it's awful and tragic because you lost a baby.
Yeah.
You lost a child.
Hello.
So them having a miscarriage is awful and tragic, and we grieve with people who lose a baby in that way.
But it's only awful and tragic in the Christian worldview.
Well, this is where they want both. They want it both ways.
They want it to be awful and tragic because it is, and their natural law
Except
dictates their heart.
Except when your self-actualization and your financial well-being supersedes the tragedy. Then you're allowed to induce tragedy on an innocent, vulnerable human if it trumps your ability to be rich and follow your career.
So it's just a clump of cells unless I actually wanted that clump of cells.
Yes.
Now I lost something deeply important to me.
Then I get to decide what it is, if it's a baby or not.
Yeah.
Fertility struggles and then had a miscarriage. It made it even more clear to me how personal everything that happens in that room with your OBGYN, everything that happens in that room is private. And it's so intensely personal and intensely physical. A woman feels every aspect of this thing.
Of birth.
Forcing them to carry something for 9 months that they don't want. A government doing that? That's crazy to me.
No one's forcing you. We're saying just don't force that thing to die.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Only a liberal man can make the jump from miscarriage being deeply personal and heartbreaking to forcing you to carry something for 9 months.
Yeah, no one's forcing
what?
you.
You just jumped from two conclusions.
We're saying don't force violence on an innocent human.
Yeah.
That's what we're actually saying. Go ahead.
And then what people don't realize is when you say, oh, I'm fine with it as long as it's, up to 15 weeks. Like people that have an abortion after 15 weeks, almost always they wanted to keep the baby, but there's some kind of complication that came up that they have to have an abortion. So
That's a lie.
That's a lie. You don't have to have the abortion.
What he's doing now
Yeah.
is he's conflating the procedure called a DNC that happens, I'm 90% sure it's called DNC, that happens after you miscarry, late in the pregnancy.
And he's also talking about, we figured out there's a birth defect that is going to affect the quality of your child's life.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we recommend.
Yep. They might have,
And that's a
they,
doctor.
they might have Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have a baby with Down syndrome, do you?
Yeah. They have spina bifida. They have a developmental disorder. They have whatever it is. And they're like, your baby's quality of life isn't going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we have plenty of evidence to suggest that doctors have been wrong plenty of times.
Or that folks with Down syndrome go on to have amazing, beautiful lives. Some of them even get married and have kids.
No, 100% that. But I'm even talking about the extreme, your baby's going to have a bad quality of life and they're going to die in a week.
Sure.
And it's like, that's not up to us.
Yeah.
my wife, she was well past 15 weeks when she had to have an abortion. She was miscarrying and
Oh my gosh, dude.
John.
Straight lying.
Shannon Sharp, you know that the pro-life position is about elective.
Yeah. Your baby's already dying.
Your baby was tragically dying. Your wife was miscarrying.
And dying.
She needed a surgical procedure called a DNC
Yeah.
to take the tragedy of a dead baby inside of her out.
That's been covered in every state, even the ones that don't allow, right?
This is what they've been doing. The documented technical label of it
Yeah.
is some sort of abortion. It says in the procedure. So they take whatever medical definition of how they got to categorize the paperwork and they go, see, women need this.
Yeah. Women needed.
But we all know that is not what we're fighting against.
Oh, yeah.
We all know that is not who we're saying should be protected.
Oh, totally.
And because there's incompetent, stupid doctors, like in Georgia, where the young lady was in the middle of taking the pills that caused her, I believe, to be septic, and the doctors wouldn't provide that procedure for her, she tragically lost her life.
Yeah.
That's the incompetence of the doctors. This idea that a woman is having a miscarriage and the doctors are saying, we can't give you this procedure, and they're bleeding out. That's stupid doctors. That's not what the policy. No pro-lifer. I know them. I know Lila Rose personally from Live Action. I know Kristen. I know the folks that are running these organizations. No one is saying, yeah, a woman that's in the middle of miscarrying, we don't think she should be able to have the procedure to take the baby out and save. No one believes that.
Yeah.
This is manipulation. This is the same thing that's been done with multiple words at this point. Multiple words at this point. This is the same thing that's been done with the word patriarchy. This is the same thing that's been done with the word racism. This is the same. Every, bigotry, violence. We just keep changing words. Violence isn't violence. Words are violence. No, they're not. Patriarchy is the man being the head of the household, not a system where women don't have rights. You stop changing the words.
Yeah.
So this is the situation where stupid doctors are practicing this is malpractice, and because they're stupid and they're dumb and they're afraid of the laws, people are dying, and then it's used as an activism point at the pro-life movement and say this is what they want. No, this is not.
Do you think there's any activist doctors that might willingly reject a D&C
I hope not,
because they know that their patient could die and then become a talking point?
I hope not. Ugh. I hope not. That's a different level of evil.
That is a different.
It's one level of evil where you're incompetent and you're stupid, and you go, I don't think it's that bad. You just got to go home and let it pass. Like that's one level of stupid. Another level of evil is, we're going to let her be an example, because then we can take her and we can make her a figure for the freedom to women to kill babies as an elective procedure. And so John Legend is so disingenuous about this position. This is the new move. This is the new move from the pro-choicers. They're now playing with words. Again, we've seen this play out. We've seen the word violence be hijacked. We've seen the word be hijacked. We've seen the word patriarchy be hijacked. We've seen multiple uses of this word be hijacked, and no one is falling for it. Like, you know what we mean. We're talking about the elective procedure of on demand. Hey, I had a one-night stand and I didn't take a morning after pill, and then now I want to go and kill this baby. That's what we're against. That's 99% of these situations. And if you want to hear about the time Jim Carrey exposed how they're trying to brainwash all of this, we'll have this video pinned up over here. If you want to pick up something from the Blessed God Among the Pagans collection, we'll have that pinned up over here and in the pinned comment below. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace.